I learned this.
Yes,
Go on.
Nick. So, hi, friend. Good evening. This is your host, Ankit Kanenwal, joining you from Delhi, India, and we have Nick Palaveda joining us from Raleigh, North Carolina. And welcome to IBM TV Startup Wednesday. As usual, we have some startups lined up. Starting with the impact investment. I'll just play a little video about that, and then we'll.
We have our annual events here. So on 26, 27 October, we have our next event. So most of the world leaders come to our events, and fund managers like the Rockefeller Brothers Fund, the Norwegian Sovereign Fund, all of them come. And we try to make them aware of the impact investment. It's our fifth summit. We do it every year. It's 26, 27 October. And this is the first time we are doing it in webinar. So it started 6 years ago when we started SEER to increase the awareness of impact investment in the Swiss financial system. And today it has become a global name. So we have people coming from all over the world, mainly from US. And this is the first time we also are doing it on the webinar because of the COVID, where all the investors come, mainly the ultra high net worth individuals, financial institutions, and wealth managers. And we introduce them with businesses who are busy in the field of impact investment. And impact means businesses which are good for the environment and or good for the society. And especially what impact have they had on the society? And have they really done what they have committed to?
Wow, that was pretty good. Is that a clip, or did you get that on YouTube, or where'd you get that, Ankit?
No, we got a special clip for impact investment for Ben Banerjee. He'll be joining us in some time, and then followed by we have Don Malloy joining us from discussing about cybersecurity, and then we have Ketul Shah from the payment industry. That's the lineup for today, and Ben will be joining soon. But this we are trying to promote Ben's show, Impact Investment, which is scheduled on 26, 27 October.
Yeah.
So hopefully we'll have more people joining us and discussing about the impact and stuff like that. And we have our guest Sasha Star joining us from Canada. Good morning, Sasha. How are you doing?
Good morning. How are you doing?
All good, all well.
Good. Haven't seen you for a while.
We have Bill joining us from Washington. Good morning, Bill.
Good morning.
Yeah, and they missed the Swiss International Impact Association little clip, which I'm looking for that on the IBM TV videos, but I don't see that. That's the reason I'm wondering where you got that from.
Right next to Shoe Crazy.
Seriously?
Okay. Well, actually, I had the pleasure of seeing a preview of it, and I thought it was absolutely outstanding.
Let me play the clip one more time, but before that, I would also like to play one of our sponsors clip, Shoe Crazy Wine. So
Okay.
Here we go.
Wow. So, folks, after you go vote, tune in on TV with your favorite glass of wine and watch these ladies just kick back and enjoy. Listen to the conversations, text in your conversations. But it's all about having fun.
Yeah.
Oh, I found it. It was on Gwen's, because you got so many roles back there. It's on Gwen's, all his video clips. And then we have the Swiss International Investment Association, which I think, I wasn't sure which Ben was going to join us at 11:15. I thought it was maybe Ben from the United Kingdom, Great Britain.
We missed Ben.
Yeah.
This is the Ben from Switzerland, which is he's more how you say proper.
I've invited Ben Coates as well, but hopefully he'll join this week sometime soon. But today Ben Banerjee is joining us, talking about impact.
Right, and we're going to talk about the Swiss International Impact Association because they're doing really great things over in Switzerland. And let's do a little clip on that so our viewers who have just arrived from American politics who spend too much time in the mud can see what actually happens overseas as they grow things that actually help people, as opposed to swimming in that little mud pool of American politics. So let's go take a look and see Ankit, Switzerland.
Yeah.
All right.
We have our annual events here. So on 26, 27 October, we have our next event. So most of the world leaders come to our events, and fund managers like the Rockefeller Brothers Fund, the Norwegian Sovereign Fund, all of them come. And we try to make them aware of the impact investment. It's our fifth summit. We do it every year. It's 26, 27 October. And this is the first time we are doing it in webinar. So it started 6 years ago when we started SEER to increase the awareness of impact investment in the Swiss financial system. And today it has become a global name. So we have people coming from all over the world, mainly from US. And this is the first time we also are doing it on the webinar because of the COVID, where all the investors come, mainly the ultra high net worth individuals, financial institutions, and wealth managers. And we introduce them with businesses who are busy in the field of impact investment. And impact means businesses which are good for the environment and or good for the society. And especially what impact have they had on the society? And have they really done what they have committed to?
Okay, yeah, this looks to be a great event, and from what I understand, Ankit, is that people here can actually register because it's all online. Where normally you'd have to fly to Switzerland to go to the event, but they're allowing people all over the world who are on IBM TV can actually register for the event. You go to their website, and then you can watch a great event similar to the World Economic Forum, except this is in Zug. And what they do is they try to focus in on startups and corporations that impact the planet, humanity, and finance, using finance to actually impact humanity on a positive basis. A unique idea. It's a positive idea. It's an idea to move people forward. Look at this virtual summit where they have financial professionals, policymakers, investors. And look at these speaker lineup. Okay, stop right here. Look at this. We have Bernard Chen, who's the governor of the non-official member of the Executive Council in Hong Kong, is going to be there. The CEO of Norges Finance in Norway is going to be there. The former Prime Minister of the Netherlands is going to be there. The member of the WRA Global Board of Directors, founder and principal of Willows Investments in the United Kingdom is going to be there. They have a great lineup, and you can be there too, is what I'm saying. The executive chairman, founder of Geopolitical Intelligence Service in Liechtenstein, SGB Lab Advisory Network in Switzerland, the Minister of Economic Affairs in Karten Zug, Switzerland's going to be there. The president and CEO of the Rockefeller Brothers Fund. By the way, Rockefellers were a big, wealthy oil family at one time, and they have a fund here from the United States that's going to be there. So they got a great, exciting lineup. Let's see what else we've got. The executive director, head of corporate affairs in the Democratic Republic of Congo is going to be there. The CEO of the Investment Committee Partners Impact Group in Switzerland. The mayor of the city of Zug is going to be there. The managing partner of Goodwill Investments in the Netherlands is going to be there. Such a great international lineup. The chairman of UK Finance in the United Kingdom is going to be there. Sustainable Investments at PricewaterhouseCoopers. The head of Climate Office is going to be there in Luxembourg. The president of Geneva Macro Labs in Switzerland is going to be there. I mean, it's got a really great speaker lineup. Faith Invest in the United Kingdom is going to be there. The chief energy officer of New Energy Nexus is going to be there. The CEO and founder of Impact Facility in the United Kingdom and the Urban Development City Market of Zug is going to be there. Something that the World Economic Forum, as you know, is on delay because of coronavirus. I was really shocked positively that they're actually going ahead with this great program, the Swiss Impact Investment Association 5th annual seminar, and what they're going to do is basically connect people with the peers. You get to work with influential industry names. The whole goal is to improve the humanity by using financial means and do things positive. Now, for those who are not interested in positive things, American Politics is on IBM TV every day at 10 o'clock. But if you want positive things, Startup Wednesday, which starts at 11 o'clock, starts out with a bang with how you are able to go to this virtual presentation all over the world where people are doing things positive to increase the ability to use sustainable energy, to basically help developing countries and help people move along on a positive basis. So that's going to be starting. I think it's October 26th and 27th. I think it's the first time they're actually doing it virtual. Is Ben Banerjee going to be joining us also, who is involved in this?
Yeah. So Ben is joining in a couple of minutes time, and this is the first time they're doing virtual summit, and they're expecting a lot of people watching us through a webinar link,
Right.
And they can join in and register themselves on the website siia.ch.
Yeah, and when I talked to Ben last time, they actually fund startups and they help fund corporations. Usually they'll do 5 million to 20 million. He'll explain it later. 20 million to 100 million and 100 million plus. So the people that go to Startup Wednesday, what we're going to do is help them go to places where they can actually receive funding for their ideas, and places where they're actually doing positive things. And one is the Swiss International Investment Association. Bill, you had a question. How's the Tower of Power in Washington, D.C. doing?
The Tower of Power is fine. It was actually just a brief announcement because for all of those forlorn and who are disinterested and think politics is a fooey, and but still want to tune into American politics, we are running a special edition of American Politics on Friday at 6 o'clock, just before the Crazy Wine Show. And then we are running a second premiere again on Sunday at our regular time of 7 o'clock on Sunday. And also, we will have the Lawyers Den live tonight to sum up the Supreme Court hearing. But Nick, of course, that's my appeal only to the very, very small slice of half brain dead people who are simply sitting on their couch and drooling and have nothing else to watch as they go to sleep.
Hey, I just want to beam in because this is Startup Wednesday. Get my book, folks. I wrote this specifically for startups, but also for people who are investing on when you're going out to get startups. But the first thing that I really persuade people to do besides finding a purpose is to get your plan together, but to engage, to network, to go to these summits. This is why this is very important. But that's something I wrote in here. You know how I became so successful? You know how I am part of IBM TV? I went to an event that wasn't even on my agenda, an event that had nothing to do with anything in my business. And I met people who would invest in my business. Actually, while I was at that event, somebody found out about my invention and introduced me to Senator Moore.
And since we're doing shameless self-promotion.
I met Nick.
Okay, I'm going to do a shameless self-promotion for Economics Monday. On Economics Monday, we have the Honorable David M. Walker will be there. He also wrote the book Come Back America. He's got a new book, America 2040. Will it still be a superpower? Good question, for our international audience. But he has a new book coming out. He's going to be on. He was a former Comptroller General of the United States of America. It's going to be on IBM TV this Monday, 11:30 EST. Join us for the Honorable David M. Walker, author of Come Back America, but also
got another book. He has a new book.
Yeah, that's what we're going to discuss. His new book, America 2040, Is It a Superpower? And he's going to be discussing that. But he was the former Comptroller General for the entire United States of America. He's now a professor for 4 presidents. Yeah, he basically ran the government's paycheck book. But then the thing is, he right now is a professor emeritus at the U.S. Naval Academy. And we're going to be listening to David M. Walker this Monday on IBM TV.
And we're going to get these books where you can find them on IBM TV as well. So you just go to IBM.TV and you look and find to access these books, because we're going to be doing a news show, a book show coming up in the near future.
Yes, and it looks like
But,
our
we
friend
have
have,
a special guest.
yes.
We have a
We
special
have a
guest.
special guest on the board, so yeah. So I would like to welcome Ben.
Let's bring Ben into the scene here.
Aisha, good evening. How are you?
Hi. Hello.
Hello.
Oh,
We got your clap.
Yeah, Ben.
thank you very much.
Yeah, we were talking about the Swiss International Investment Association. I don't know if you saw the clip that we have on it. You didn't? Hey,
I think
Ann,
let me play the clip before we
clip.
proceed.
Let's run the.
We have our annual events here. So on 26, 27 October, we have our next event. So most of the world leaders come to our events, and fund managers like the Rockefeller Brothers Fund, the Norwegian Sovereign Fund, all of them come. And we try to make them aware of the impact investment. It's our fifth summit. We do it every year. It's 26, 27 October. And this is the first time we are doing it in webinar. So it started 6 years ago when we started SEER to increase the awareness of impact investment in the Swiss financial system. And today it has become a global name. So we have people coming from all over the world, mainly from US. And this is the first time we also are doing it on the webinar because of the COVID, where all the investors come, mainly the ultra high net worth individuals, financial institutions, and wealth managers. And we introduce them with businesses who are based in the field of impact investment. And impact means businesses which are good for the environment and or good for the society. And especially what impact have they had on the society? And have they really done what they have committed to?
Wow.
That's really good. Ben, tell us a little bit about this. Can our viewers and IBM TV, can they watch the Swiss International Investment webinar? Is it possible that we can watch it?
Yeah, exactly. I think you have the link, no? Just tell them to register with that link, and then anybody can watch it from anywhere in the world.
Wow.
So
It's
okay, and that's October 26th and 27th, so it's coming up pretty shortly. And tell us about, this is the 5th year that this has been going on. Tell us a little bit about the International Investment, Swiss International Investment Association, the Impact Association. What do you guys do?
So we started 6 years ago because I myself come from the world of impact investment. We have been doing alternative energies, agri-tech, food tech, fintech, all over the world, mainly in the emerging markets, more than 25 years. And since last 6 years, we have Swiss Impact Investment Association here in Switzerland to increase the awareness of the impact investment in the Swiss market. That's number one objective of ours. And secondly, is to be a kind of platform where investors, businesses, and funds can meet each other. And I think we have done quite a good job, because if you look at it, even now, banks like UBS and BlackRock, funds like BlackRock, they're all coming into impact investment. More and more bigger and bigger banks and financial institutions all are coming into it. On the other side, we also have amazing businesses and technological businesses from US, for example, from Silicon Valley, from Switzerland, all over Europe, who are doing amazing work. And we try to get them financed with the financial institutions that come to our event. So yeah, that's in short. But we also, what we do throughout the year, event is just annual, but the rest of the year, what we do is that we support our businesses with fundraising. That is one. And secondly, we support the funds who are doing very positive, because we have a lot of funds who are doing good for the environment, good for the society. We promote those funds for our investors and for our institutional investors. So that's very short.
Yeah, and you've been doing this for 5 years now. How'd you get started?
Oh, it was just couple of friends came together, and then we got very strongly supported by the Swiss government. Because 6-7 years ago, I'm sure you must be aware, the Swiss financial industry was quite under attack, mainly from the US because of all the UBS scandal and all these scandals. So we wanted to create this. On the other hand, Swiss financial industry is very big. It's amazingly, extremely big. So we wanted to convert Swiss financial industry into a sustainable and impact investment, so that it again becomes a very powerful, positive force in the world, where people will look at Switzerland and say, oh, that's where the impact investment is coming from. So that was one of the intentions. And we got supported very strongly by the government here. And that's where it started. Although we still have a long way to go. I mean, I can talk a lot on this topic.
Yeah. Please do. This is Startup Wednesday, and we have a lot of startups that come in to our show, and they are always asking, how do they obtain funding for their corporations? So how would they go about obtaining funding for their corporation, Ben?
There's two ways. One is the event, but okay, that is very limited. That is just 2 days. You can't do much on that. But they can still, I am not sure if there is still place, but they can still write an email to us at startup@sia.ch. So, and they can make a pitch with the investors. But what normally they can do is that they can approach us anytime they want. But we need to know a kind of, number one, a teaser and their business plan. Because it's not only saying that we are impact investment, but it's also that they have to report every year, despite of the after the investment, that they are using the money for what it was meant for. I was very coincidentally speaking in another investment event last week, and after that, extremely many funds approached us. But sometimes, especially from Asia, the funds, they were funny because they thought. They said they are doing a lot of investments in chemical companies and all that. And I said, what is the impact angle? They said, impact angle is that we give job to a lot of people. I said, that's not exactly
right.
enough. We need a bit more than that.
Okay, so the American fracking industry probably shouldn't be going over there because their impact is going to be a little different. But solar power and sustainable energy, would that be something that
yes.
you guys would be interested in?
Yeah, geothermal, all kind of, from Silicon Valley we get a lot, which is very coincident because this year, if you would look at our program, it's on our website, Glencore is coming. And Glencore is not really known as a very, how do you say it, politically correct, it doesn't have a very positive reputation because they have had a lot of skeletons in their cupboards. But now they are very strongly focusing on sustainable mining in Democratic Republic of Congo. So they are coming to speak and present. So if a fracking industry will come, it is not per default that we will say no.
Right.
But maybe they are doing something positive also. Then of course it will be open because at the end of the day, most of the major finance institutions are here at the event. So it is a platform to say if you're doing something good, it is a platform to say that you are.
Right. So how do you differ from the World Economic Forum? What's the difference between the Swiss International Impact Association and the World Economic Forum in Switzerland?
The WEF is very much political, and it is a very, how do you call it? It's a very theoretical institution where the policymakers come together to discuss. I mean, that was history. Today, it's a different thing. I have some opinions on that. I know Professor Schwab, who started with it. But SIA is completely down to earth. So it is just a matter of taking a problem and solving it on the ground level. It is not only, we are not telling the governments how to make their policies or what. We are just bringing the projects of businesses who are really making an impact, who are really doing something good, and getting them operational and getting them financed. That's it.
Right.
Simple as that.
Right. Now, when we have a lot of startups that come on Startup Wednesday, and let's say they want to get a hold of the Swiss International Investment Association, your advice to them is to get their pitch deck ready, and what else should they be doing?
If they want to do it at our event, then yes, they should have their pitch at least 2-pager sent, because then our team can go through it and find out whether it fulfills our impact. One of the very easy way to find impact investment is that ask the startups to show in their pitch deck which of the 17 SDGs are they replying to or working for.
Wow.
And that makes a very, very easy, if they say that we are working at hunger or women empowerment, hygiene, poverty, that makes a difference. So because impact investment is all around the 17 SDGs.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Is this the only event that you do during the year, or do you have other events?
Yes, this is the only annual event, but we do have smaller ones, but these are generally very close door here in Switzerland. But now, because of the corona, I think we will have to convert everything to webinars. So it will be more and more on the web.
Mm-hmm. Right.
So then I think we will be more open to everybody.
Yes. Yeah. And Kit.
So I think, Nick, I just wanted to mention, Ben, that on IBM TV also we are trying to cover up a lot of SDGs of UN. And one of the shows which we have started last week was about special women. And I just wanted to play that intro before we proceed with the discussion. And just finding it right here.
One of the things I want to say about Wynn is she's one of the most amazing women I have met in a long time. She has met with the challenge of surviving a very tough disease, cerebral palsy, but she didn't let that stop her. She's also a victim of domestic violence when she was growing up and is still going strong. And her mission is the same as mine. I've been honored that she's had me on her show. We just started her show 2 weeks ago. And she likes to have me on her show with her. But it's amazing to me because our mission, both, we have this goal to help end the domestic violent crimes, the recidivisms. And she knows that's one of the inventions I have. But I love working, with people like this. This is something that's been great about IBM TV, is that we've got all kinds of inspirational people who are trying to meet what your same mission. It is exciting because I just felt like two worlds connected here, and it's all about sustainability. It's all about helping people meet their dreams. But it's inspirational. If you ever get a chance to watch it, it's Monday morning at 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. But she is so inspirational. I get so many texts from people from all over the world that have been watching her going, wow, Kim, thank you so much for showing us that people with disabilities can be something too. Yeah. And that's what she's doing, right? She gets 60. I like working with her because she met her goal. She got 60,000 downloads. And her next goal, she said her next goal is 400 a day. And when you're working with someone like that who sets goals, that's exciting. That's what a business is all about. So, so it's really just, we all have the same mindset. I think this is what's exciting, Ben, is that we all want to make this a better world, right? And that's one of the things I find exciting about your summit coming up. But the other thing that I find exciting is that you guys do investments right. I write about it in my startup book. It's not about just getting any investment money, which a lot of people, they get a little anxious, a little eager. And this is where you can fail. Because, I'll cut corners and just get 100,000, but you can't run a company with 100,000. You definitely can't get it to success. And then all you're going to be doing is raising money. So one of the things I like about what you guys do is you think about it, but you don't just invest in a little piece of it and just say, make it work. You've got a business plan put together how you invest, don't you?
Yeah, exactly. And also, I think the one of the characteristics of the impact investor is that they are not so focused on the return on investment. I mean, there should be a return, but they are not in UK, or sorry, in Switzerland. You also have the word for VC, which is called vulture capitalists.
Vulture.
Oh, yeah.
So
Uh-huh.
and in our case, we can take a couple of percentage lower than the market rate. But the amazing part is, if you look during the Corona time, all our funds and businesses are doing quite extremely good. Some of our funds are all 20% plus return, which is completely unheard of any other traditional or MSI funds. So our sector is performing extremely good at this moment. This year we were supposed to be crossing $1 trillion market size. It's already now, we have crossed 850 billion.
Wow.
So it is growing very fast. Most of our funds are growing extremely fast because the investors have been so badly hit in most of the other sectors that they are coming over to our sector. The only thing is, we are not very liquid fund. So that means that you can't put $100 today and withdraw 110 tomorrow. In our case, it's always, at least you have to stay 6 months or 1 year or 3 years. These are all long-term investments, because when you're investing in businesses in emerging market or in environment or something, it is not constantly liquid. You can't buy, sell, which is also one of the issues we are having with the market. If you look at US, I mean, economy is in tatters, but the financial sector is doing very good.
It is. I mean, you know, and you hit the nail on the head. During these uncertain times, people are moving their money over to do other things. Personally, if you really do your homework and you invest right, you don't ask a startup to cut corners, but you ask them what they need to really succeed, you can have a successful investment in a startup. I mean, they say the odds of a startup is really low for success, right? It's 85% fail when they're invested in. But that's because they're not invested in properly. So one of the things I highly recommend, like I said, get out there and network, get to know people, even go to events that don't pertain to your business, because that's where I met Nick. I met Nick at a PBS hackathon. That had nothing to do with my business. And look at us, we're strong business partners now. Yeah. So don't just focus on your own business, focus on meeting the people, understanding other markets. You might even find a new market for your invention, but your summit is very unique. It's very different. I've been to many investment summits. I cannot wait to participate and watch this one, because it's very different. How you invest is different. There's just so many elements in being an investor. Are you seeking other investors? I'm sure you are. How do you go about finding more people to join your group?
Generally, it's via, but the investors, they generally find us because we have a very clear vision, very clear objective. And we haven't done really a very strong marketing of that yet. Although I think now it's time coming, but because the inflow of the funds have been so strong till now, that and we are quite under-resourced, so we cannot go out openly marketing yet. But if they seek us and if they find us, they know where we are. Especially if people have a certain vision, certain idea that I'm interested in, for example, energy, or I'm interested in fintech, or I'm interested in agriculture or food. They know where to find us.
Okay.
So,
do you have have you seen a trend in certain areas, especially in your 17 groups? Have you seen a trend?
At this moment, you mean during the COVID time?
Yeah.
Yes, food and agriculture. That has a very, very strong trend. Another is the supply management, the supply chain. That is drastically hit, is changing. Another which is coming very strongly is the alternative energy, because more and more people are working from home. So the logistics, by supply management, I basically meant also the logistics. So these are very, very strong.
That makes sense.
Ben,
Yeah.
okay, Ben, in the area of the alternative energies and green tech in particular, there has been, of course, at least during this COVID crisis, that a number of companies have moved heavily into this area, at least from the private sector. Are you finding that to be true generally with the investments? Are you finding it that it's crowding out your movement with social impact investing? How are you finding that in terms of how these various companies starting up are funding?
I think there is a positive movement and a negative movement. The negative side of the movement is that because of the people are using less energy at this moment, so the fossil fuel has become very cheap, which has, in a way, it has created a kind of effect that it has become cheaper than alternative energy. So many people are going into fossil fuel. Secondly, on the policy level, I mean, I don't have it with me. I can send it to you guys by email. If you look in Europe, we are not doing that very well. It's only certain parts of Europe are doing well, like the Nordics, they are doing well. But if you look at Central Europe, like Germany and all that, they are not doing very well. They are still very, very strongly focused on coal energy. Also, mainly because Germany itself has a huge surplus of coal.
Okay.
So there is a movement on both directions, positive and negative.
Okay.
But the positive direction, the margin, the income, and the innovative technology is coming up so strongly that it is changing. For example, if you look at electric cars, everybody is coming with electric car now. But we don't still have the infrastructure that tomorrow, if everybody would have an electric car, we won't be able to charge them. We don't have the infrastructure for that yet, but it is catching up.
Okay, well, listen, actually on the electric vehicle. Oh, sorry, Kimberly?
No, go ahead.
Okay. On the electric vehicles, this may be slightly out of your wheelhouse, but I do have a question because I've seen a number of reports that say that the process of manufacturing the batteries for the electric vehicles. You see where I'm going, Ben?
Yep.
Okay. They say that is ultimately more destructive to the environment than fossil fuel-based vehicles. What do you know about that? If you don't, and it's an unfair question, I apologize.
It is because we have been part. So what you said is true, but that is regarding the old batteries.
Oh.
It's not valid anymore. The new batteries are certainly far more friendlier and better than fossil fuel. That's number one. And number two is the battery is changing day by day. There's so much innovation there. We are nowhere. We are still at the beginning of it, how the technology is developing.
Okay, well, with that in mind, then, is for the startup companies that may be out there that are on the leading edge of the battery modification, development, or inventions, are those companies that your symposium would gladly welcome?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, and so,
exactly.
Okay.
And I want to add something to that because every day technology changes, and I used to walk in and start out speaking. Anything you hear today won't be here at the end of the day, because it will change at the speed of light, because that's what research is doing. I want to add two things. Our gas resources are very dangerous. Okay, I've been on the oil rig sites. One of my inventions is intended to go on the oil rig sites, and fracking is one of the most dangerous processes in the world to obtain a resource that we need to replace, right? And think about, we're taking something out of the earth that belonged in the earth, right? We're basically sometimes filling it with trash and junk, or we don't fill it at all. So what happens to that space? I mean, come on, Rakesh, science. What's happening to that gap, right? I mean, so if people don't understand, also those rig sites are very dangerous, and I get very frustrated over this political campaign about, we got to keep the fracking going for the jobs, exactly how much are we paying those people? How many people, do you guys even have any idea how many people are on each rig? Okay. So we're barely employing hardly anybody. We're employing them in one of the most dangerous jobs in the world, and they don't get paid that much. And quite honestly, they don't even insure those sites or even put good resources and solutions on those sites to protect the people, because they say it's cheaper to pay their life insurance than it is to protect them. So, and the only people who make money off of fracking are the owners of the rig sites. It has nothing to do with employing people. So I love the alternative solutions. I am a big proponent. I even have some solar that I dabble with. I created my own heat collectors. And get this, using just a small little computer fan that I took out of the fan. I stacked a bunch of cans painted in black. I put them in a window in an encasement, and I pull the heat out from it in the wintertime. And I've reduced my electric bill by about $35 a month just with one. And the house stays warm. So there are alternatives that we could be doing if we use our mind. And the batteries are getting better, Banerjee. They are. I mean, I just
okay. Kimberly,
get off my box.
Okay. I love you for your brain. You're an engineer. I mean, I just had a quick thought of my entire house having black cans and fans running around it. That's
It is for beer cans, by the way. I recycle everything.
Okay. Yeah. On the other hand, Ben, if her idea and program were a startup, wouldn't that be something that your people may be interested in? Because it's fine and well to talk about the first world with regard to the technologies that they have to develop alternate energy. But alternate energy doesn't always mean, the latest battery. It may mean bringing power to those parts of the world and developing nations to help build up so they can establish the baseline infrastructure. Is that covered by your conference as well?
Yeah. There are 2 points I would like to add. So generally, the energy-rich countries are the poor countries. So if you look at solar, wind energy, where are they? They are mainly in Africa. They are in south of Europe. So basically, these poor countries have far more energy capacity than the so-called rich countries. I mean, Greece is a tiny country, but Greece has enough wind energy and solar energy that it can fulfill the energy requirements of Germany completely.
Wow.
But we don't invest to create that system. So that is one thing. Secondly, what we have learned through history is that as we have pulled people out of poverty, hundreds of millions of people have come up out of poverty. The more they have come out of poverty, they consume more and more energy, which we have been fulfilling via fossil fuel. So what we have done is that by bringing hundreds of million people in China, in India, in everywhere out of poverty, we have exponentially speeded up the CO2 in the atmosphere. So now they're causing so the only way to break through this devil's circle is the energy requirement will always go up. To tomorrow again, half of Africa or full of Africa will have the capacity to buy. They will also buy. So energy requirement. So the only way we can stop this devil's circle is with alternative energy, that we cut the link with the fossil fuel and cut, because then the energy production goes up, but the damage to the environment goes down.
You bring a point up there too, because Africa suffers from not enough power resources, and we have friends over there in South Africa, and a lot of times they have an app telling them when they're going to have power. So they a lot of homes that go without power for a day or two, they get an app and tell them, okay, your power's on today. You can use your Wi-Fi. You can use whatever you have. This doesn't have to exist. I have a little portable power generator from a solar panel, and the one solar panel, if you stack the batteries right, will run a full house. One panel will run a full house with lights. It will pump water. It will do everything you need. But we need to get this, and it's a small panel. It's the size of a small suitcase. And this is the kind of technology we can get out there to people. and it's affordable. Whereas, when I had somebody come and measure my house, because we're not allowed to go off grid here. So I had somebody come measure my house for what the government says I can install on my house, and they want to charge me $85,000, right? And the little unit I have, which the whole world knows now, I have a little unit was $2,500 to just one unit can run a 3-bedroom home, and so there's some simple solutions out there.
Mhm.
Problem is the investment isn't going into the right people's hands. It's going into big corporation hands who will take some of these products and shelve them so that they can continue selling their product. And I know this because I worked for them. Yes, Bill.
Actually, Rakesh, you had a question.
Yeah, my question was this: that in terms of breaking this nexus between the former Seven Sisters and sort of getting the world into sustainable energy, processes. Don't you think the financial industry has a huge stake in this?
Yeah.
Not just in Switzerland, but even in London, even in Hong Kong, all over the world, the financial industry has a huge stake, not only from the point of view that we'll have a more habitable world, but we'll also have a more profitable world, because there is a profit outcome out of sustainable energy. I'm surprised that neither the World Bank or anybody is or some private financial center is not taking the lead in this.
There are some big ones are taking the lead. If you check out EIB, European Investment Bank, they are taking the lead. They have now come with a policy that they are not going to invest or lend into any business or any project from 2021 1st January, which is not aligned to the Paris Agreement. And they are big. They are very big.
I have a slightly different question. And, when we talk about alternative energy, and everybody often refers to solar panels and electric vehicles and things of that nature. But first, isn't it true that different parts of the globe have different alternate energy kinds of needs? So, for example, your example of Greece, and then you mentioned the Nordic countries being better. And it seems to me that another form of alternative energy people may not have heard of is cogeneration. Are you familiar with cogeneration?
No.
Oh, okay. Well, essentially, it's a system by which
I have to write it down.
Oh, come on, Ben. Ben's going to give me a big head if I know something that you don't know.
No.
Ben, please say so, Ben. Okay. Well, essentially, the principle of cogeneration is that by digging down a certain length into the earth and running...
You're talking about geothermal energy.
Geothermal energy is a cogeneration plant which produces both heat and cool, because it produces heat in the winter.
Exactly.
And that's right. And then, okay.
You just spoke ahead of me. I was just going to comment on that. I said most of the alternative energy we have are supply oriented. So that means when you have wind, you have wind energy. When you have sun, you have sun energy. Rest of the time, you don't have it. But geothermal, Bill, which you mentioned, is the perfect because that is demand oriented.
Well, hang on, Ben, because it seemed like you and everybody else on the panel picked up their pencils. And for once, I thought, wow, I must really be smart and belong here on IBM TV. But alas, it's not true. Can you please explain to our audience what geothermal energy is?
I can give a practical example. 7 years ago, some of us were getting very drunk in a pub.
Okay.
and then we came up with this idea of digging under the ground and getting at heat. So if you guys Google, you will find out there's a city in Finland called Espoo, Espoo. There, the university and a couple of my friends from the CLC, they created a power station which dug 11 or 13 kilometers under the ground. So what they're doing is that in the winter, they're taking the heat out from the rocks because the rocks have different layer. And with that heat, they're warming quite a big major part of the city.
Mhm.
And in the summer, they're doing exactly the opposite. So in the summer, the hot water they're putting down. Because what happens with the rock layers is that if you keep on taking out heat, at certain moment, the rock layers start cooling down. And then you can't take out heat anymore. But since they're circulating it, the temperature, so in summer, you're basically warming up the rocks, 13 kilometers below, and in winter, you're taking, and it energizes a huge part of the city in Espoo.
Mhm.
That is geothermal.
Well, let me
And-
ask, I didn't mean to laugh. Was that bar story true?
Which,
That you guys were in
yeah. In Nordic countries, most of the decisions are made after a bottle or two of vodka.
Liquid innovation. We call it liquid innovation.
Okay, Ankit, you're
Open Table believes in that. The company Open Table.
yeah.
And in every department, they have a bar. And so liquid innovation, and you can't beat it.
I am still going to use that. That is right up my alley in ways you don't know, Ben. But Ankit, you go right ahead.
In fact, I just wanted to mention that in India, we have a lot of deserts, especially towards Rajasthan and all. So what happens is that during the daytime, they have a lot of heat, but during the nighttime, it's very cold. So, there are a lot of companies who are researching on it and trying to create some kind of a sustainable energy for them, or maybe some kind of a setup, because you can't have like a plantation, or you can't have anything else. Either you can have a solar plant, you can have a wind plant if there is a wind, or else you can create a sustainable energy using those desert and lands, because there is, you can't do anything else. So one of my friends is doing a research, and they are trying to set up a data center there, so that the data center will get cold vibes from the night temperature, and then they will convert it into a daytime, and then they're trying to work it out on that way. And also lot of our data centers in future, they are storing underwater in sea, basically, which is already done by Microsoft and other companies. And why they're doing it? Because once they do it, they will reduce automatically 80% of the energy which they use it for data centers. And data center is a big thing. Everyone uses it, so they are trying to create maybe an alternative way to dump all those servers inside the water and make sure that they can use wind and turbine to make sure they can cool it up. So this is also going on. But I wanted to know from Ben that a lot of our startup wants to know that with an idea also, impact investments funds people or funds company, or it's just that they fund to the company who was successful like for 5 years or 3 years, or what's the prerequisites apart from the impact investment idea or business?
If it is institutional, then it is, of course, mainly growth capital. So companies which have already proven themselves. So they're at least 1 year, 2 years or more, and they have a marketing, they are known. But in case of wealth managers and ultra high net worth individuals, it can be startups.
Okay.
Wow. One of the things I want to add into this conversation where we were talking about all of this technology, which is really cool, is a majority of the alternative power sources do require some sort of storage for the power. So a majority of that is going to be a battery. One of the things I love about the geothermal is it's not about that, right? It's just about generating the heat versus the cooler, but a consistent temperature for maintaining. And we learn about this in caves. We learn about this, and it's interesting that you chose 30 kilometers, right? That's an interesting distance, but all of that is what's going to make us better. One of the things I learned even from teenagers is that energy, comes from fruits, right? And plants. And my niece, when her battery was discharging on her phone one day, she took something and stuck it in an orange.
Yep.
And plugged it. This is my niece.
Get out.
And plugged it in her phone to charge her phone. And it worked.
No. Okay, seriously.
It worked.
There's a YouTube video of this.
Jim, you mean I take this phone and I stuff it into an orange?
Not the phone. And she had
Not the phone, the wire.
charger. She had a charger.
Okay, wait. So you mean
learned how to split the wires, and she poked it into
so
orange.
I have to split the wires.
Well, she learned how to do it. I don't recommend doing
There's a
this.
YouTube video on it.
Oh my God!
There's a YouTube on it somewhere.
All right. If I might, and then we're going to go to Rakesh. But I never try to miss a moment when I can embarrass myself. I was at a camp at a science thing for summer camp or whatever, And I got the idea of taking 2 nails wrapped through the wire and sticking them in an electrical socket to see what happened. Well, of course, I got shocked, and all the electricity went down. And then the fire department came, and they're like, "How could you even be alive?" My hair was all whatever. But so I was taught at a very early age not to stick things into unknown items, and so. But don't mind me. That's me being embarrassed. Ricky.
Yeah, the other thing that I was thinking about in terms of sustainable energy is that the project timelines need to be extended. Because very often these things are, if to get it to a commercially sustainable point, you need to have longer project timelines. If you're going to have a financial manager who says that, I need so much percent return within a certain period of time, it's probably not going to work. While if you have a government who's working at, in sync with the financial manager and sort of giving some kind of guarantee or some method by which returns are spread out over a longer period of time, you will have far greater success in developing sustainable resources rather than the current situation where you want something coming out just like a chemical plant or electronics plant. It's not going to. It's just the technology as we have today is not going to let that happen, and to be honest, till Mr. Musk came along and started up the electric car, people had written it off. They said, this is not going to work. And Mr. Musk, has proven that it can work and the car can run for a certain sensible distance, not something which will stop after half a kilometer. So, you need, that is such a rarity, but if the government had sponsored that would have happened years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Well, agreed. But
I just wanted to mention one more point that, So Ben, do you also support those companies who are working on a complete recyclable ecosystem? I'm not sure about Apple, but they claim that they're planning to, get rid of their mobile chargers because they're not selling the charger with the phone now, because most of them already have the chargers. So there's no point of bringing those chargers. And also what they're focusing is that they are trying to reduce the carbon imprints as zero as possible. And there's a plan for their next 5-year plan. So do you also support those companies who are working to make sure environment?
No, circular economy is a very, very strong point. Yeah. There is, which one is it? For example, if you look at the Norwegian Sovereign Fund, they invest very strongly into circular economy, and a couple of other major funds, they have a strong focus onto it. And what you are saying is very true about, because we are doing a couple of projects like that in Ghana, in Africa, and a couple of others where they are converting, for example, old phones, or they're circulating, or what they do is they take the old phone, completely strip it out with all its basic components and basic elements, and sell it off to the manufacturers who can again recycle. So of course, these are,
There's something to be said about recycling our resources, because we've got so much trash, and it stacks up. The technology junk graveyard is really, really deep. And because, again, like I said, a lot of times I open up my statement with whatever you hear about today at our conference is going to be obsolete by the time you leave, because that's how fast we change. And a lot of people, instead of reutilizing or reusing the resources, they just throw it away, and they don't care about it, because we make majority of our technology disposable. Some of the things that think about is long-term, right? Recycling and long-term, which are all sustainable functions. And I think more companies need to start focusing on that. How can we, this is what one of the reasons, how I raised $134 million one time. It was definitely not an industry the investor would invest in. In fact, I knew that going in. I was there for something else, helping somebody else raise money. And he said, I know you've got a product, Ken, that you've got a business. And I go, yeah, but it's not, this is me, right? It's not something I already know you. You don't invest in this. And he goes, well, I'll give you 7 minutes. And so I did the why not question.
Mhm.
And the big question is that the number one thing that this world invested in, which one is it that held the value for over 100 years? And he sat there and he couldn't answer the question, nor could his client. And the answer was right in front of his face. It was me. It was telephone copper wire in the ground, right? Every ounce of that copper wire that we've invested in over 100 years now has held its value. So why not? Why not invest in something that's going to hold its value for 200 years? And that was my pitch. And he was like, wow. Because that's what you have to look at sometimes is how long is what you're going to invest in going to hold its value? How often are you going to have to change it up?
Mm-hmm.
But what a lot of people don't understand is big corp, a lot of times, especially like, not to put them down, but they'll get all of these inventive ideas that are really, really great. And they do this. They shelve them.
Mhm.
Okay. And the reason why is it's not going to, they're still making money off of this. Even if it would save a life, even if it would improve quality of life, which is what I'm all about, they still shelve them. So you have to look at that. And I've seen a lot of ideas like what you guys are talking about, the electric cars and stuff like that. A lot of that technology that would make our quality of life better has been shelved somewhere, patented and shelved. So these are things that you have to think about. But what I want to share with Ben is I've got a little secret closet. Okay, I have a little secret closet of where a lot of patents sit that we can use of a lot of great technology.
Well, then listen, then why don't you bring your marbles and share, Kimberly?
Yeah, that's what I want to do. But I don't want to tell the world about my little secret right now.
Well, then just bring them to Startup Wednesday, and we won't tell anybody else.
But there are so many things like that out there that we can unite and connect. But
Yeah.
this is something that a lot of people can use. I've actually shared it before, and people's eyes are just like, wow, really? That exists? So there are closets of technology that exist where patents are stacked. So there are so many ways that we can unite and connect the resources, what we're developing. But it's all, to me, I want what I develop to build quality of life. I want an impact of change. That's what I want. I don't want just the pet rock to prove that I can make $1 million off of a rock because I marketed well. I want impact of change. And that's why I like your summit coming up. And can we play that summit thing again? Because we got a new.
We've got Don here as well.
Yeah, we got Don. That's why I want this played because Don just joined us.
Oh,
Hi.
hi.
Oh, yeah, I'd love to hear it.
We have our annual events here. So on 26, 27 October, we have our next event. So most of the world leaders come to our events, and fund managers like the Rockefeller Brothers Fund, the Norwegian Sovereign Fund, all of them come. And we try to make them aware of the impact investment. It's our 5th summit. We do it every year. It's 26, 27 October. And this is the first time we are doing it in webinar. So it started 6 years ago when we started SEER to increase the awareness of impact investment in the Swiss financial system. And today it has become a global name. So we have people coming from all over the world, mainly from US. And this is the first time we also are doing it on the webinar because of the COVID, where all the investors come, mainly the ultra high net worth individuals, financial institutions, and wealth managers. And we introduce them with businesses who are based in the field of impact investment. And impact means businesses which are good for the environment and or good for the society. And especially what impact have they had on the society? And have they really done what they have committed to?
Wow. I'm just so excited. I don't use the word I can't wait. I'm looking forward to. I'm looking forward to this event.
Thank you.
And I think,
Don,
I think Ben needs to leave.
Oh, okay,
So
Ben.
before we leave, any final comment from Ben, and then we'll go over to Don.
No, just I would just say thank you and welcome, guys, and especially Kimberly. If you have ideas or something, please get in touch because it may be very interesting. Because the issue is not that we have an unsolvable problem. Solutions are all there. It is just we are still, our leadership is missing the motivation and the incentives and the courage to take those steps.
exactly. Well,
And don't forget to vote.
I got tomorrow. Tomorrow it starts. I got my button. I'm ready to go. So
What button is that?
it's the vote button. I'm gonna go vote tomorrow. It reminds me. I got my book on who to vote for. I'm doing my homework, so I got my booklet. I'm doing my homework and checking out everybody. 'Cause I don't just vote for one party. I vote for people. So I research who does what. And
I like that, Nick.
I have a vote mask. Does that count?
I need one. So, but I'm excited. But thank you for reminding us. That's very important in our
Yes.
system.
The whole world is watching.
Yes, no,
The
Ben.
world is watching.
We know that.
Watching us vote for the next president, and that's
Right.
going to be a big impact as well, because that's going to decide what's going to happen for the next 4 years. But
Exactly.
At least.
What I
We'll be
said,
all-
I don't care who the president is. I'm going to continue doing my work. I'm going to continue making my choices and my decisions to make the impact I find important. And that's what I think we all individually have to do. It doesn't matter sometimes who our leaders are. We have to make the changes.
Exactly.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And I'm going to be
Thank you.
contacting you.
Ben, it's always a pleasure. It's always
Thank you very much. See you then.
Thank you, Ben.
Bye.
Thank you.
Good to meet you, Ben. Good luck with the conference.
okay. Don, you're
I think,
now. Good. So Don, you're
Hi,
on
good
the hot.
afternoon, all. How are you?
Yeah, how you doing?
So Don has
I'm doing well, thank you.
an event coming up as well, and I think you sent coupon codes, and things kept hitting me too fast. And Ankit's been away due to family emergencies that we didn't get the code out. But Don, do you want to talk about some of the things you've got going on? And we're also talking about
Sure.
doing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Don used to own a conference. That's
Yeah, I
how
was
met-
actually speaking at. Yeah, we may absolutely do this again because I'm going to lead into that a little bit. I was speaking at Edge Computing World yesterday, and up and coming is Industrial IoT World, which is next Thursday, 10/22. I have a free pass for that. And also DataCon LA, which is starting Friday and goes Friday, Saturday, the 23rd and the 24th, I believe also on the 25th. And I'm moderating a session there. I'm speaking at a session there. But what I really wanted to mention, and this is what I think is interesting today, is, for those of us that are somewhat European and understand, Europe is doing a lot with identity. They have something called EIDAS, an identity system, and in the United States is working towards that. So one of the things that I see happening is self-sovereign. We're talking a lot of it about self-sovereign identity, and I'd like to take it a step further and talk about self-sovereign authentication, because self-sovereign identity is something that will utilize our identity connected to a third party, a Google, a Facebook, or someone else. And how we got that way is because, as you know, 20 years ago, as we started out with passwords and logons and things like that, it worked out real well for a while until it got a little bit too cumbersome, right? The average person, I think, has 190 passwords or something like that. And the typical password, because we've been in the password business with Oath for a number of years, a 6-digit password can be hacked in about 4 minutes, right? I mean, there are password hackers and crackers, and you can crack those things all day long, and it doesn't mean a hill of beans whether it's numbers, gibberish names. It still can be hacked. So we need to do other ways of authenticating us with our biometric, without giving away biometric, and that's the key, right? We don't want to give away our personal identity, our PII, but yet we want to be able to authenticate ourselves. So doing that to a third party is nice, but that's a federated process where I'd rather have it be a self-sovereign authentication where we are authenticating ourselves, not through a Facebook or a Google. But you see that all the time now when you go on a website. Do you want to log in with your Facebook account or your Google account? That's using them as the moderator of your authentication. I would rather keep that authentication to me, not allow it into a third party, right?
Exactly.
So Kim, I love the title, Professor Kimberly. I like that. I like the title.
Somebody called me that the other day, and I go, I like that. So I grabbed it because he calls me that all the time, and I think that's so interesting. So I'm like, I'm going to stick with that one for a while. I'm playing around. Branding is everything, but some of the things that are coming up, you like you said, you've got a coupon for a conference, the IoT, Industrial IoT conference. If you've got that, we'll share
it's hard
that.
for me. Yeah, I can send it to you, or you can get it onto my LinkedIn account. It's on my LinkedIn page, or I can send it to you afterwards, and you can post it. However, can I send it to you?
Yeah,
Sure.
Please do send it to Ankit. But some of these things are very, very important. This is what we were talking about today: is networking. Networking is very important. The virtual events, stay in touch with them, right? Because they're all going to reopen physically within a year or two. We're going to be back going to these events. This is how I became successful. It wasn't sitting around waiting for things to happen, but I would go to events that really didn't have a whole lot to do with my invention or my product. I would just go out and network, and you'll meet people. Go ahead.
It reminds me of a story. I won't say the company, but I was consulting with a well-known authentication company a couple of years back. And when I started up the IoT security conference, I wanted them to be a part of it. And he said to me, well, Don, we looked at the IoT space, and, it's not really big enough for us yet. We don't see the revenue there. And I said, really? I said, but you're missing the whole point. Now is when all the relationships are being developed between all the companies. And when the revenue is there, you're going to be on the outside looking in saying, I want part of that. And you're going to find out that the connections are already made.
I
Go
know.
ahead, Kit, you had a comment? Yeah.
Go ahead, Ankit.
So I just have a couple of questions for Don. Firstly, whenever we try to use an app called an OTT app, we have a different kind of authentication system as compared to if you do something on desktop. Because when you go to a website, maybe a Facebook or anything, you just have to use a username and password, and then you are able to log in. But when you access an OTT from your smartphone or your smart television, you need a different authentication code, which is much more secure. So how we can implement that on our day-to-day working lifestyle, firstly. Secondly, I wanted to know that, when you said about smartness and what people are doing and all this stuff, what I realized that now, when all the companies are online, everyone is virtually available, all the companies. We have an HR department, which is very crucial to all the companies. I think in next 5 years, we should have an authentication department as well, because a lot of people are authenticating or trying to log into your website or maybe any virtual device. And you need a department to manage who is doing what, because that's very important. And you don't want any unwanted people or unwanted signups in your account, because that creates a lot of nuisance, and that can disturb your personal server, or maybe they can hack a lot of stuff. So I think that department should be placed in next couple of years. What do you think about both the points?
Yes, absolutely. So I'll take the first one, and that's exactly, Ankit, what I was speaking about, is when we authenticate right now, we have disparate things, just like when Oath was started, there were all these disparate passwords and things. Well, now we have different web browsers, whether it's a PC, whether it's our mobile phone, and we have to authenticate differently. Well, with a self-sovereign authentication, we can authenticate the same way no matter what the device is, whether it's your phone, your PC, whether it's Chrome, or whether it's Bing, it doesn't matter. It all uses the same authentication, the same system without having to re-authenticate. So that's the key. Number one. I think the second question is really an interesting comment. If you think about, as we add departments, a department of authentication, I could see that being part of the IT or the CISO department, the security department, where we now have a lot of companies have privileged access management, otherwise known as PAM, right? Where people in certain departments only have access to certain sites within the company's servers. They cannot look at the finances if they're in a customer service or whatnot. And so things like that, they would all fit into that same type of department where I think it's over 60% of all the breaches happen internally, whether it's a bad actor or whether it's an inadvertent person clicking on a link. It's a huge amount. So protecting that internally is very important. So I could see a whole department being created just to do that.
But Don, my question was particularly about the external users, because every company is growing with their users around the world, and also when we use VPN, the authentication is a little different from without VPN. So I'm just concerned about the external users and how we can protect and how we can make a quality check on those users, how we can make sure that we have a prerequisite or we have some weekly checklist or weekly authentication, so that we know who is logging and who is accessing my server or my account from my company is virtual, website or stuff like that.
So you mean when somebody's coming into your network, you want to be able to vet them?
Yep.
Well, there are a lot of products and companies that will do that. Sometimes what they'll do is they'll put them into a sandbox, right? So that you don't get into the network first. You get into a holding area, so then they can check all the characteristics of the person, where they're coming from, what the URL is, where they are, whether they've been there before, and then you can raise the risk level. If the risk level is too high, you can have them go through some other hoops to authenticate themselves.
In fact, if you know,
it's a combination.
In the past couple of months, Twitter have released some kind of guidelines for people around the world, and they said that users who haven't logged in or used authenticating Twitter for 6 months, who haven't posted anything on Twitter, so there are some certain points of checklist, so they will be closing or suspending those accounts, and you have to claim back that you are the right person, or you are not a fake user, or you are not an unwanted user. So that happened with Twitter, and I think a lot of companies are also following the same thing. Just make sure that they are trying to do a quality check with their users and authenticating everyone every now and then.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, a lot of companies now are starting a 90-day password reset, so that you have to redo your passwords every 90 days, no matter what. Which is a good start. These are all layered efforts, because there's no one perfect solution, right? It's a step by step, because everybody's unique and we have to be constantly moving forward. But I like this thought about the self-sovereign thing, because we've been talking about that with the blockchain and getting self-sovereign, into the blockchain. And so if you can do a self-sovereign authentication, now when you connect into a blockchain, now you know that person is who they are, and nobody else is doing it on your behalf. And that's the important part.
I'm not too crazy about this every 90-day reset rule, because I don't check all of my accounts. I have over 200 logins and passwords with government contracts,
I know.
systems, conferences that I've been a member of. And it drives me crazy if I have to go in and, the password doesn't work anymore. Now I got to reboot. Now it's got to be, and then it changed. And, maybe I shouldn't have so many, but I've registered in so many places, have done a lot of work in so many places. And sometimes I just don't need to go back to them, but maybe once a year, right? So I wish somebody would invent a password locker somewhere where, okay, I got all those authentication and encoded and embedded whatever I needed, but all of my passwords are in this locker. And
There are a couple of those.
but if you're making me change it every few days, my locker needs to go. What I'm going to go next is my locker's going to go out and change it for me. So it's a little bit of artificial intelligent network, maybe my little chat bot that goes out and negotiates for me. But I know, right? But it gets to be overwhelming. Like today, I had to take care of some business, and I haven't been in that at one particular account in about 3 months, and everything reset on me. Everything, not even my face recognition would work. So I had to go back. I had to go look up the old passwords. I had to reset the password. I mean, and it was ridiculous. What should have taken me half a minute, generally a half a minute, log in, do the stuff and go, took me 30 minutes to an hour having to go look up everything. And so some of these things are more of a hindrance, I think, than they are protecting our privacy. One of the things I do like, though, that Don, that you mentioned, is my ID is going to be on some kind of electronic, my phone kind of thing, right? I love the idea that they're computerizing that a little bit better. It's going to make it easier for people. But we have Keto here. Hi, Keto.
Hey.
Hi, Keto.
Hi, guys.
Yeah.
Kimberly, I like your Halloween decoration on the back.
Oh, thank you. So this is for economy. This is what I put up for our economy day, right? And then, I got the spider that keeps everything under control, kind of freaky spider. But yeah, I get in the spirit. It's my favorite season. And I've got an attic full of decorations. I'm not going to bring them all down this year. But I used to have a coffin. And somebody borrowed it. I never got it back, but it was more about I would fill the coffin with candy. Sometimes I would have somebody lying in it, and the kids would open up the casket, and somebody go boo. But the kids always knew that there were candy and toys in the coffin, and they would get real excited about coming up to the coffin and getting their candy. I also had toothbrushes in there. That's my sister said I took all the fun out of it, but
that's cool. By the way, I wanted to mention something.
Before we proceed, we should wish Ketul happy anniversary. It's anniversary of Ketul today.
Happy anniversary!
Thank you, guys. It's actually it's not the actual wedding anniversary. It is the anniversary for those, we call Roka, or like a basically like a engagement, like a confirmation from both the families, kind of. So that is what it is. I like to, keep entertaining our lives with all this, post and stuff. But thank you guys for that. By the way, just wanted to share the recent experience, like 1 hour ago, what happened to me, because we have been talking about this mobile payments and, since like last couple of months. Recently, I experienced that. I just went to the Walmart to get the toolbox because I have like so many tools, and it won't fit in the box that I had. So I had to buy the new one. So I went all the way to 10-15 miles, and then I realized at the front door of Walmart that I forgot my wallet.
Oh, no.
And my license and everything, except my phone, which I don't obviously forget. So now, obviously, it was my real-time experience. And how do I purchase that without my,
you have Apple Pay?
identification? So interesting. I have Apple Pay, but Walmart doesn't support Apple Pay. Walmart doesn't accept Google Pay. Yeah. So you have to find the way to do this. And there was only one box which I like. That I wanted to buy, so I cannot afford to come back home and then go back, because there's the only one piece left. So interesting fact is, I asked the customer service at the Walmart that can I purchase online through my Walmart app and pick up at the store. They said, it takes like a couple of days. when it's I said, but the product is right here with me. Can I just buy this online and just make They said no. So I said, okay, what is the other way? How can I buy this without my card or without my license or everything? So they said, like, the the Walmart Pay. So it's similar to the Apple Pay. I never used it. This is the first time I used. So first of all, what I did is I opened the Walmart app. I basically, put my card on Walmart Pay. And then all I have to do is, go to the counter and then they scan all the products and stuff. At the end, on the pin pad, there is a little QR code display. So all I have to do is open my app and scan that QR, and the payment goes through the Walmart Pay. And that is a very interesting process. Like if you haven't used it, you can try and see. So you will see the communication between the pin pad and my phone. It's actually, you can see that on the little device on the Walmart has. So you can see that how they recognize my name. When I scan that QR, they said, like, hold on, the system is processing the payment. And then once the payment's done, I get the receipts on my phone. So it was very interesting. I faced the real time, experience that what you see now, like, what we talk about. And it's pretty interesting the way it is, because, Walmart has their own processors, own gateway. So it doesn't go through any other channel, but it goes through the Walmart gateway for the payment processing. Yeah, Don, you were saying something.
Kito, yes. Did you already have your Walmart number? Have you already been authenticated with Walmart when you started that process, or were you fresh? Did they know who you were?
No, it's a fresh, because I had so on my Walmart.com, which is on the app, I have my credit card information stored. But
okay, so that was already there.
That was already there. But the interesting fact is that card was expired. That I got the new one because of I had some issues. So I started from fresh. I add a new card, which I have a number. My wife texted me the card photo, so I have the full number and all. I entered. So basically, what Walmart Pay does is, like, when you enter the full card number, expiration date, and the 3-digit code, they basically convert that number to the token. So that token was there. And then the interesting fact is, like, when I scan at the checkout, the actual POS that Walmart has, they take my token from this app and then process through their system, not my phone.
Yeah. Okay.
So basically, that is interesting fact that it still goes through their network, through their own POS system as a token initiated transaction, compared to, the e-com transaction that I scan, which is different and interesting. And then I searched a little bit more about this Walmart Pay. It's actually a 4 years old technology. They came in like 2016. And they spent 6 months at that time to build this solution, and then they roll out globally. And then there's also other thing is like scan and go, which is also very interesting concept that they have. So on their card, the Walmart card, there is a little device sitting on there. All you have to do is like put your phone there and open the app, and then you can basically scan all the products, and then you can check out. So you don't need to go to the the counter.
But that's a definite honor system, right? How are they validating that what you scanned in is everything that you actually put in your cart?
So they're using Walmart app basically. Because of the Walmart app, I think they can easily.
And no, actually, when you go to the exit, there is a little standing area. It says like scan and go customers. So you have to go there, and then you have to show that barcode, and then the Walmart guy is scan that barcode and then just verify that you have everything, and then you're good to go. So technically, you don't need to wait for all the scanning and all that, and which is also interesting. And that is also 3-4 years old technology, but now due to COVID, after COVID, is a very expediting kind of So a lot of interesting facts that now it's in the market and it's available. So basically, you are working for Walmart free, as you are the one who's scanning the product.
So
like basically,
that's exactly
It's like shifting the self-check-in technology to the mobile app. Is that what the technology is? Because they already have a self-check-in outlet. So they just have converted that into a mobile app.
But scan checking is like you have to wait for that
I know that, yeah.
for the system. Now, basically, you are walking around in your cart and you are basically
checking yourself.
scanning everything, and you are like ready for checkout, kind of,
Wonderful.
And so basically, you're working for free, as I said, for Walmart. And
in fact, I
Walmart
tell you one more interesting thing. I mean, this technology is like 10 years old. What I'm talking about is that whenever you roam around Walmart or Kohl's or any other company, they have a small scanning barcode where you just scan it and check out the price. So they have just extended that checking price to a payment price as well. Because there are a lot of small aisle in the corner. They just have a scanner. We just have to check the price. So I think that's interesting. But I tell you what we did. I mean, last week is that we were trying to buy something on Amazon US, and I bought it from India, and then after 2 days I have to return it. But the best part is that I got a direct transfer in US without paying any transfer fee from Amazon.
Wow.
If I directly transfer through a bank, I have to pay a bank to make sure that I'm converting the currency from India to US. But using up Amazon and returning the amount, returning the product, I didn't pay anything, and I got some dollars in US with a good price. And I was like, that's an interesting thing.
It depends on your card, like what card you use, because some card doesn't have the fee. Like exactly, like my card doesn't have fee, so I can shop anywhere, like even Amazon India, Amazon Australia, Amazon Canada with my card, and I can return because it doesn't have fee. But if you use some other card, like a local ICICI bank card or something on Walmart, then they charge you for transaction. So it depends on what card is that. But it's going like very in a different zone now, Yeah, Don.
Yeah, it's interesting where you say that now we're finally moving into that mode of doing that scan and go. But IBM had this 20 years ago. When I was in semiconductors, we were doing RFID tagging, and IBM had trials where you would scan, you would take everything, and you take your shopping cart, and you go through the gate. It would scan everything automatically as you go out, and it would get your bill, and you just keep going. We were doing it with clothing retailers, with Nike shoes, and Walmart had a huge initiative back in the early 2000s of this whole RFID thing. And at the end of the day, you're right. No one was going to make money except Walmart. Everybody had to give the services to Walmart free, with demanding that their supply the RFID things in everything. But it wasn't working 100%, and so they canned the idea because there was problem with metals and liquids and things like that. But the technology has been tried many times. Yes. Finally
learn how to mask the RFID and steal items. I mean, there were just, it's like you said, there were just too many challenges, but it was there. I watched it. And you know what people don't understand is we actually used it in manufacturing floors, right? So everything, every product that we manufactured, every item had an RFID on it. So we actually knew who tested it. We knew if it went somewhere, we knew if it failed, we could trace it back to, so we were doing all of this stuff long before. Everybody goes, we can trace food from the farm to the table. We were doing this in manufacturing facilities. We knew where
manufacturing, absolutely.
Yep.
We knew where these products went in the field, and if they failed, we would immediately go, okay, we got a couple of failures here. We could trace it back exactly to where it was manufactured and figure out, is it something on the manufacturing line? I mean, so we've been using that
for a property 5 years ago. They should want to know.
For years. All right. Oh, that almost sounded like a game going on. And so, we got a lot of technology. One of the things, Don, I wanted to hopefully convince you to do is to bring back your conference, because I thought it was gaining traction on educating people on the elements that we need to continue securing networks. So maybe we can open engagement and have these conversations moving forward. inviting people to do panel talks about those kind of things. This is all very important. I think they're going to bring back, like he said, you know, you can scan everything that's going into your card. It's still an honor system, but you know, I think that technology is going to move. But one of the things I just like to shop online. Now I don't have to worry about. And you know what my problem is when I do that, when I do actually physically, like you, Peter, go to a store, I forget my purse. You know, and then I don't have anything to buy with. Fortunately, my store is, you know, I don't go too far. My store is a mile away. It's out here in the country, so you know, I can just scuttlebutt back home. But
Kim, you know, we have a solution. I mean, if you don't want to go to a store, you can visit dollar store.
Right. That's where I was going. Yeah, you can just shop in the dollar store. And I want to tell you what, they got all the stuff I need, except for some of the food items. And I'm actually, you know, we were talking earlier today about the election. I didn't get to talk about this, but there's been a rumor that if somebody wins, one of them wins, that the country's going to have to lock down again because there's going to be, for 11 weeks, we're going to have a storm of riots and people aren't going to be able to get the stuff from the store. So I've been actually stocking up for 11 weeks worth of shutting down again. And so every time I go to the store, but another good way to do that is shop online. And when you register right now, you get some free tokens, right? But as you shop more, you earn tokens. So, you know, there's no reason not to shop online, but you can get your soaps, your toilet papers, your Sanigels, your masks. I mean, the masks are more affordable than what I think what doctors are paying for the masks. I am not kidding you. I feel sorry. When I heard the end price of what the doctors are paying for their PPE equipment, I'm sitting here going, we need to rig up something where they buy everything from the dollar store. But, you know, because for whatever reason, they bring this stuff into the court. I know. And then they charge these upcharges to the doctors, like the test kits. You know, the test kits were coming in at, you know, $6 to $7 per test. And the doctors were getting charged, you know, $14 to $20. And then they have to turn around and charge $30 to $40. So you see the upcharge there? Those doctors shouldn't have to be paying that kind of price for test and PPE equipment. But the dollar store is a way to save money. You save gas. That's saving money. You save time. That's saving money. To me, time is very important.
Yep.
And then they got this favorite button that you can, you know, like store your favorite items. So you just need to go back and rebuy it. You don't have to go through all 4,200 items looking for these things. But they've got soaps. They've got luxury items too. There's one item on there that is $60 on Amazon plus shipping. And it's a luxury item. I'm going to admit it's a luxury item. It's the same item, same name, same size. It's $5 at the Family Dollar store. And if you buy $25 worth of stuff, your shipping is free. So the Family Dollar store isn't about cheap products. It's about quality products that are affordable. And the reason why they do this is they buy at high volume and distribute at a low price. So they've got soaps that I have used my whole life. You know, Irish Spring. They've got baby items that are Johnson & Johnson and Sesame Street. So all of these things are just value, right? But I prefer not having to go anywhere. Especially COVID's made me super uber, I don't know if you call it efficient or lazy. You know, just hit that button. Okay? Boom, it ships. But Nick loves the cookies. Yeah, he talks about, in fact, he can't even share with us what cookies he buys because he eats them when they get to the door. So, we've got Mark Lee, and he's a big fan of all the snacks and the cookies, but he's been buying like the confetti pancakes. And I'm just going to tell you, the confetti pancakes that you have, they sell at the store too. And you have it for a more affordable price. So it makes no sense to me to have to drive to the store and buy some of these products that I can stock up on. But Lynn, what else? Do you have anything new?
No, I'm just going to say thank you very much. It's been nice being here. You did a great job talking about the store.
No, 5 for 5. You get the 5 for 5. I'm going to hand the ball to you on 5 for 5.
Yeah. So well, that was Dr. Segu. I love that because as soon as he saw me come on, he would raise both hands and go 5 for 5. But the 5 or this. Well, first of all, what you didn't say is we're here because we're supporting Money Masters PBS, which is a not-for-profit that owns IBM TV. We love the mission. The mission is to reduce the gap between poverty, financial sustainability by providing financial education, which IBM TV does a great job doing, and hopefully it will all result in financial fitness. But the 5, that's the 5 gift tokens that we give to everybody as soon as they sign up to become a customer, whether they shop or they don't shop. Really doesn't make any difference. You still start out with $5 worth of gift tokens. I shouldn't say 5 tokens, $5 worth of gift tokens. But through the end of the month of October, we're giving an additional 5. Okay, so that's 5 to start and an additional 5. So you really start out with $10 worth of gift tokens. Shipping's free for $25 orders or more. And think about this. When you buy, you're saving money, but you're supporting IBM TV and supporting Money Masters, which is paying forward, which is the last one of the 5. Why do we have so many 5s here? One of the 5 items of financial fitness that Kimberly, you talk about all the time. But also through the end of October, which is the 5th month times 2, so using 5s again, through the end of October, we're giving 100% of our profit to Money Masters PBS because we really love the mission. So let's go back through each of the 5 items, right? Item number 1, Kimberly, is pay your bills, but save money while you're doing it. Buy your essentials and save money. And when you save money, you can invest. Okay. And that's item number 3. So I think I missed item number 2.
Save. So you need to spend well.
Spend well.
Save.
Save. Invest. Pay your taxes. Ooh. Aha. My taxes going today.
Monday. I mailed mine Monday.
Yep.
You better get it in. Today's the 14th. Don't wait.
Yep. Oh yeah. Well, this one's going because I'm sending them a check, so it's going out with certified mail to make sure they get it. Okay. And then number 5 is pay forward. And when you shop it at the online dollar store here at the at IBM TV, first of all, you don't have to remember the link. All you have to do is remember, go to the IBM TV website, click on the big round green button. It takes you right to the website, sign up to become a customer. And when you shop, you're saving money, okay, which you have to invest. So you're saving money, which you have to invest. That's number 2. But you're also paying forward. So the last thing, and Bill's not here today to prompt me, but when Bill's here, Bill will talk about the fact that there are a lot of people in need in the areas where we've had the hurricanes. I mean, there's poor people in St. Charles, Louisiana. Man, they've gotten hammered twice in 6 weeks by 2 hurricanes, Hurricane Laura and then Hurricane Delta.
Yeah.
I mean, those poor people. So there are organizations there that are there to help the people who are in need. So find one of those organizations, buy at the dollar store, you buy it because you're spending less money, and you ship it to the organization. You're helping the people by paying forward, but you're also supporting Money Masters PBS when you do it. So you're really accomplishing 3 things. And the last thing that I wanted to say is they have been supplying lots of food, but they need essentials. They need soap. They need toothpaste. They need wipes, because Kimberly's pointed out they have wipes for men and women. Whatever. baby stuff. They need baby bottles. So buy some of the other stuff. Don't think that everybody needs food, because there are a lot of organizations locally that are providing them with food, but they don't have the ability to be able to get the items that they really need for their daily life.
It's
Yeah,
sad, you know, when you think about, you forget about the toothbrushes, the toothpaste, the
exactly.
soaps, the razors, the shaving cream, even lotions, or even sunblock, right?
Sunblock, yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
people are out in the element now, and I was just thinking, and like chapstick, I was showing it the other day. You know, your lips are dry. This is dry, you know, bad, but even little things like that make a big difference in somebody's
Sure.
life.
Sure.
And
they've lost many of those people have lost almost everything.
Everything.
Yeah, I mean, think of the people in California or in the western states. I shouldn't single out California because it's really bad in Oregon with all the fires.
Yep.
And actually, there are fires in Washington, Idaho, Montana, Colorado, Utah, Nevada, Arizona, and New Mexico. So all those western states are having fires. It may have even gotten as far east as the Dakotas and Wyoming. So, well, it is in Wyoming. So
you know what happened in the west coast of India? We have an orange alert where we are expecting heavy thunder showers and rain in Mumbai, Bombay. Ketul aware about it, but somehow, I mean, during this month it never happened. But there's an orange alert, so I don't know what's happening around the world. There is something is going on somewhere, and this is a very, I mean, disaster full. I mean, year for all of us, and I think we should take care of ourselves and make sure that we have enough resources and we still have our back each other and try to help each other, because it's very important to save yourself and to save your neighborhood and community as well.
It is. It's very important to help everybody. Unfortunately, we, as people may have heard, we don't ship to the other countries. So what we have to do is get stores set up in the other countries so that we can ship there, which is a shame. But maybe this is Mother Nature's response to the election that's coming up, not liking what's happening with all the negative ads. And so she's sort of shaking things up and saying, come on, people, start to love each other instead of fighting with each other. So who knows?
That's a really good point.
People in America, they're happy to vote. I mean, I think they're looking for a good change, and hopefully they will make that change possible. But for that, you need to go and vote yourself, and that is very important.
Those are my mail-in ballots are downstairs.
Yes.
So as I walk out the door to go to the post office, I'm taking my mail-in ballots. Got 2 of them, one for my wife and myself. And by the way, make sure if you do mail-in ballots that you put them in one. There's an inside envelope and then an outside envelope, and you have to sign the outside envelope, fill in the information. So it's a form of confirmation, and make sure you check the marks with a black pen so they can read them, and then mail them in. So we're mailing ours in today.
Did you have to witness yours?
No, we do not.
So we had to witness ours in North Carolina, but I'm actually going to vote. But I witnessed for some family members because they wanted to mail in. They don't want to, but I just can't break my chain of going to vote. So I'm going to put my PPE on.
Yeah, same thing.
And
I'm also going in for a vote this time.
But I'm curious to know, Ketul, I mean, if people are doing a ballot voting, can we have a process where people can scan and register that they have voted, and then they can, mail their vote? Is it possible? Because, if that paper or if that envelope will get vanished somewhere, what will happen?
Actually, right now, this is like a very touchy topic or very discussion topic about this, the whole election thing. But there are like a lot of ways possible you can do that. Yeah. But they are trying to have like more secure way and like more like, the person engaged with that voting thing. And like, because the scanning and all, they're like, you're opening door for a lot of other scams that could have happened. If you
No, what I'm saying is that I'm not saying you to scan and vote. I'm saying is to scan and register that you are going to mail your ballot paper, and then you are doing that as a second proof of authentication. Because if suppose Lynn is doing a mailing, and then that mail got vanished somewhere, what happened? Lynn thinks that he have voted, but it didn't reach to the right person.
So I read the rules, and there's a place you can go check to see if they got it.
Okay.
So you have to go online, you have to register, and then you can look to see if they got it. Now, if they never got it, then you need to say something, right? But there's no way to prove you mailed it. But here's the thing, Don left, and I was going to ask him, maybe because we're getting our electronic IDs, maybe there's a way that, and this will be a conversation for Don next time. Maybe we can register our IDs to be voters as well, right? Yeah. And then we can electronic vote, right? And yeah, there are going to be hackers out there, but the way Don is talking about our electronic IDs, there's no way anybody can hack and get it, right? So I think that that's going to be the next wave of how we're going to do things. We need a president who can think about these things, right? Or a prime minister in another country. But I think with the electronic ID that Don has been telling us about, that we can stage that into the next election. You just make sure you register. But, there many years, I forget how many years ago it was a big election issue, but they found that person, it was a male person who had like thousands of ballots. Remember this in the back of their trunk? Or wasn't that in Florida? But anyway, there were thousands of ballots in the back of somebody's trunk. It never got counted. And then they asked themselves how many others were like this. So one of the ways they fixed that, and this is what I don't understand about why Trump is so upset, is that you can check to see if your ballot went in. Another way you can do is double check to see if somebody voted twice as you. Yeah. All right. There might be a way to do that. I don't know, but I do know that you can check to see if your ballot got there. So
and government is always the last one to use all this, the new ways of technology. So
yeah, that's true. See, the blockchain would basically solve a lot of the problems because the blockchain is much harder to hack. But anyway,
but you know that technology is always there, but government, especially both the parties, they don't believe in technology because they think that the other party will manipulate or do something else. That's why they don't want to use it, and that's what's happening. That's why we are not able to use it. But in India, we still have a better system where we just have to click on a button and your vote get done basically. And you can, in fact, there's a machine where you can see your voting symbol and you are confirming that you have voted for that person. So that's with the help of a button. So that's what we are doing right now. And
that is very manual way to do that. Even in India, I heard that even people are like forcing other people to press this button. So there are always perks and negative things there.
So what you guys, because you're too young, Kimberly is too. Actually, I am. Although I was alive at the time, Lyndon Johnson won the 1948 senatorial race. I think it was less than 100 votes. And if you look up ballot box 13, you'll see that they weren't allowed to write it down, but the 2 FBI agents went in that were hired, former FBI agents who had photographic memories, and they started looking at the ballot list, and they one started at the beginning, one started at the end, and I think totally in the state there couldn't have been over 1,000 votes that separated Coke Stevenson, who lost, who was the incumbent, and Lyndon Johnson, who won. And I think they were able to memorize enough names of people who were dead who voted, people who voted twice, people who voted from other counties in that particular location. Then if the ballots had been counted properly and the ballot box was closed the next day, Lyndon Johnson would have lost. So
I want to share this pin. It's a historical pin. It was my grandmother's, and It's
Franklin Roosevelt. Yeah.
So it's very old, but my family is very, how would you say, just this was our thing. Get out there and vote. It doesn't matter who, but my family was all about supporting the elections. But I'm going to share a story with you guys that bothered me for years. Is my father-in-law had passed away, and I would get his voter's card every year. They would send a new voter's card, and I many times would go to the polls and hand it to him and say, "Please cross his name off. He's deceased." I would even mail the card back and put deceased on there, but they kept sending it for years. And one year when I came in and mentioned it to him, then they wouldn't let me vote.
Probably he already voted, on behalf of somebody voted.
It's like, from the grave, the family is so politically mindset, right? From the grave.
Yeah.
But it bothered me. It was years and years and years because we took over the property. We bought the property from the family and redeveloped it. And it just, to keep getting that card just disturbed me. I'm like, and you would think the first time I wrote deceased, they would remove it, but they didn't.
So in 2004, after our son had moved to North Carolina during the presidential election, he could have voted in Pennsylvania, New Mexico, and North Carolina because he was on the rolls in all three states, and they hadn't taken him off even though he had moved. Because we went to the polls, and I looked and I said to them, "You still have my son on here?" "Yes." "Is he going to come vote?" And I said, "Well, it's going to be a long drive from North Carolina," but they didn't take him off.
Yeah, they have to clean their databases up to date with all the data. Like, I don't think government is doing anything, to protect all this.
I think they don't want to do it because they want that vote to make sure that someone is voting. I mean, someone is using those numbers.
Yeah, but then they want a reason to complain and say, well, that's not fair. So you got two sides of the story, right? Where somebody's like, yeah, we got more votes. But then if somebody didn't get enough votes, they got a reason to complain. And that's been going on for years. Sure. One of the things I don't want to see, I hope this is a landslide either way, so that we're not hindered moving forward. I just want it to be a landslide either way. And this is what I told people. Granted, I know who I favor, but I personally am not going to care anymore about who wins. I'm going to look after myself. I'm going to take care of my family, my business, and focus on those things that I can control. Because it doesn't matter who's going to be president. They're not going to be able to fix things for me. Right now.
That's true.
We're not focused. I mean, they're proving this. They would rather spend, 100,000 man hours on getting a judge that we don't need, and instead of fixing the stimulus package that our people need right now, or getting food to people who need food. There's more folks. The Senate goes, oh, you know what? We can't agree on this, but we'll just waste all of our time. So I've learned real quick, it's not going to matter who's the president, because I need to take care of me. I need to focus on the policies, get out there and change the policies that are going to benefit my community and my people. And we all need to do the same thing. We need to unite that kind of idea, not rely on our leaders. And that's what I'm going to do. And I wrote that in my post. I'm going to do the best I can. And then when all of this is said and done, I'm going to travel. And I'm going to go all over the country and say hi to all my loved ones. And then we're going to travel around the world. And I'm going to end in India. And we're going to have a big party, a big wedding, because I want to see an Indian wedding. And celebrate.
Are you getting married again?
No, somebody else is married. So here's the thing. I'm not too crazy about weddings. To me, the best weddings is at the courthouse.
Right.
That's where I get the most emotional. Like if I'm a witness, because I've been there a couple of times, for some reason, people pick me to be their witness. And I cry harder at those than I do the ones that spend $100,000. I'm sorry, but to me, that's more emotional, more just we're here to get married and move on with our lives.
But then, I mean, the wedding in India, it's more about festival, basically. It's not just a wedding.
I want that.
Where people celebrate for like 7 to 10 days. And that's an experience you should also experience how people are, getting married in different parts of the world and what they celebrate. Because
Not
it's more
at this time. Not at this time, yeah, but hopefully next year, yeah. You can.
A year after. Meanwhile, I'm going to build the business, right? We're going to get things secure. We're going to make prosperous. I'm going to settle some issues going on. And in about 2 years, we'll probably feel really comfortable doing it. And that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to get Travel Brandon to set up my deal to go around the country. Then we're going to go around the world. And then we're going to have a big celebration in India. And that's what I want. And I've got it in plan. I'm going to do like Nick. I'm going to put it in a book. And it's done. And now guess what? Our hour is over. Thank you, everyone. I think we got Investing with Sasha. Please watch Investing with Sasha. Thank you for being on our show and sharing all the wisdom of what's going forward and keeping our conversation entertaining and educational. And thank you for watching us. And we'll see you on Sasha. And then after Sasha is Weed Wednesday, which I just want people to be very alert to this, because he is about freeing prisoners that are in for life, that are nonviolent criminals, and they're there just because they did pot, not even the hard drugs, okay? And there are a lot of them. He's 40 free too. And so his mission is very good. So I highly recommend watching it. This is one of Kamala Harris's missions as well, is she wants to get those exact prisoners out of prison, because she said we don't need them there. We're wasting money. So watch Weed Wednesday. Also watch the Dinner Party with Mark. I got it, Mark. I'm not going to forget you. I just want to tell everyone, if you watched Mark the other night, I laughed so hard. Go play it back if you missed it. I think it was Monday night. I laughed. So he had guests on there that had me in stitches. And it was hilarious. What happened was Mark kept beaming out, and these two guys just kept the show going. And they know how to make magic happen on their screen. So 1 minute they're free, next minute they're a talking hamburger. And so these two guys, oh my God, I laughed so hard. So watch these other shows. They're great. They're emotional. They're informational. They're educational. And go shop at the Family Dollar store. Thank you for watching.
Thank you.
See you tomorrow.